let's go to the film room, which is our director's commentary for our channels on this show. Now, every creator's goal is to create a video that catches the algorithm, obviously, right? But so many people that are new to this business, and even people who are old to this business, think that the most important part of getting those views is subscribers, which of course is a daunting prospect, as we all know, because it can take a ton of time to get those subscribers, right? Now, you're also trying to reach this algorithm that takes your content and puts it in front of people. But Benji, you and I talk a lot about how the idea of the subscriber and like the fact that these small channels can't find success are actually myths, like just straight up. They are myths in the modern creator economy. And I think the video that we uploaded recently is 100% proof of that, because we are a small channel right now. In fact, as of March 30th, we only had 458 subscribers. But on March 31st, we posted a video that over the last 8 days has over 12,000 views and counting. It's like going up still. So it's caught the algorithm. I want to talk a little bit about the strategy first, but I want to take us from top to toe of the entire process that we use to create this video, as well as all the surrounding context about why this video has found success and what we're going to do next in relation to it. So the first video, initially, you can bring this up on the slide now. The first video we posted to this channel was on August 17th, 2025. You can see it here. It was a podcast episode. I mean, I put that in air quotes, podcast episode, a predecessor to this show. And we were just talking about one topic, which was beast games. Now, the goal using this strategy was to create topical, clickable podcast clips. And again, I'm putting air quotes around clips because they weren't really clips. They were just the whole show themselves. But eventually, about a month and a half, and this was what the entire show looked like, right? You can kind of see what we were going for in terms of format. But eventually, about a month and a half later, we started posting this podcast, which we called the Creator Secrets Podcast, episode 1. Now, this one was a little bit different. It was weekly. We decided that we were going to do it live every single week. You can also see that the podcast episodes are much longer. And that's because we took each of those segments, that sort of Beast Games style segment, or if you saw it in there, there was a Taylor Swift one too. We do them back to back to back live. That's what you're watching right now. This is like one of the segments that we're doing right here. And the goal for this one was it was very intentional, the way we built it, was to create a show that was easily clipped, right? So we're going to take this segment, we're going to put it out on its own and let the algorithm catch up. But for those who want to watch the whole thing live, want to interact with us live, they can still watch it with us and do the whole thing. So this is the whole strategy of the show. And you can see now that this is sort of what we look like. Now, let me just draw out for you what this kind of looks like here, because the reason we do it this way is that we always...
This is cool.
Pretty awesome, right? Oh, and actually, I just messed it up, so sorry about that. Spoke too soon. Let me go over here.
I should just not say anything next time.
The way that we do this show is that we begin the whole thing with really just like a cold open, right? We call it the pre-show. And usually it's some kind of story. It's something lighter hearted, because when you are doing a live show, right, it takes some time for people to filter it. The inspiration for this, by the way, is going to a concert. I love going to a concert and having openers, because guess what? It gives people time to enjoy something before the show, grab drinks, grab merch, talk to one another, maybe still jam out to whoever it is. Hopefully it's a great opener, right? But also get there for the real event, which usually happens later in the night. So that's the inspiration for the cold open there. Then what we do is we call follow-up, right? Now, follow-up is a very specific kind of thing on the show, right? Where we have topics and we want to call back to some of the feedback that we've gotten on previous videos, right? So if we did something where I researched something, or if listeners given us really good feedback, we're like, okay, let's just take this and make a dedicated segment. And you'll see that we do like, several chunks of follow-up that go like right there. Then what we do is we get into topics, which are very similar, but instead of it being driven by listener feedback or my own research, we let the news drive this, or any other topic that we're doing as well. So like this is an example of, we are in the middle right now of a topic, right? Like a specific example kind of topic would be the film room. And then of course we usually close out in some way. So this is our closing. And so this is how we build the show. Now, this goes out to YouTube live, right? We are doing this right now. We're doing this live here. But the real hack is that, it's kind of hard because not everybody's interested in everything. We want to take each of these and send them out to go work on the algorithm on their own, right? Now, let me tell you this, because this is the really interesting thing. One of the topics that we got a lot of feedback about here was DJI stuff. And the reason we knew this is because we started clipping these out and they started performing. If you actually look across our top performing videos on the channel, I'm going to say 9 out of 10 of them are probably things like DJI Osmo, maybe 7 out of 10 because the remaining 3 are like Alyssa Liu stuff. But other than that, the DJI Osmo has become a pillar, as we call it on this show, a pillar for this channel. So let's zoom in on this. This is the context that we're seeing around this whole thing that we've been doing over the past, several months now. I'll let those go away. And what we decided to do was on your channel, we decided that we wanted to start live streaming weekly cooking shows live using Ecamm, right? We use the DJI Pocket. We just talked about the Pocket. We just talked about Ecamm. We use it to stream your show. And one of the reasons we do that is because we wanted to test out the limits of this and see what we can do on a show that's dedicated in something like that. It's been massively successful. And actually, I'm curious about what your reflection has been on the live itself. Just a really quick comment about what it's been like to do a live cooking show on your channel.
Yeah, well, live cooking show in the past has been something we have done, but not very often because it was so complex. It took forever to set up, and it was kind of a nightmare running it, and it just didn't really have the right vibe. Now it takes me 2 minutes. Neutrally fires everything up remotely, and we're doing 2 live streams a week. So already the amount I'm able to do has like 10x, maybe 100x compared to what I did in the past. And it's just been more fun and casual. And the fact that I'm not setting up different cameras. I'm setting up the cameras I already used for my vlog. So I've enjoyed it. Obviously, Ecamm made it super fast and easy. And this is probably the biggest difference. Now I'm going live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram all at the same time, horizontally and vertically. So, I mean, I have nothing to complain about. I'm just excited to do more.
So we spent all that time doing this live show, doing your live show, and we were getting really excited about what we were achieving on Benji Man TV's live cooking show. And so what that allowed us to do then is get our reps in, get it dialed in. And what we wanted to do is, because this channel is all about the production behind things, we wanted to make a dedicated video showcasing the unique setup. Because I don't know anyone else out there, at least on YouTube, I couldn't really find anyone who's using this setup that we're using, especially to this extent, on a channel that's performing as well as the Benji
or
Ben
even
TV live
simply
cooking show.
just using DJI Osmo Pocket 3s for a live stream and using it in a PTZ function, which lets whoever's controlling the live stream move the camera angles through the software.
And so we were really excited. And so what we started to do is we started to go into production mode for Creator Secrets. We were like, okay, you had a very successful channel called Video Influencers back in the day with Sean Cannell, where you would go and you would basically make informational videos or interviews and just all sorts of things, but especially kind of like an old-fashioned blog where you would go and you'd actually explain to people how to do things technically, what setups you were using, what gear you were using, what your philosophy was about the algorithm. And you're like, we're going to rev this engine again. We're going to bring this baby out of the garage and we're going to do it.
Also to add, we made those videos on Video Influencers to rank for search.
Yes.
So people go to YouTube, they pull up the search tab and they type something in, and we want to rank on there. So that's called video ranking, which Sean Cannell has this great program where he teaches you how to rank. Well, guess what? That's what we did with Video Influencers. So for the first time in 6 years, I'm like, yeah, let's rank this ish. And then guess what? We did. But go ahead, tell them.
And so what we started to do is we started to brainstorm. We started thinking about who our target audience was, what we wanted to cover in the video, what the scope of this thing was going to be. And we began with a meeting between you, Neutrally, and I sitting here in the studio. And I want to show you one of the things that came out of it, because the first part of our brainstorming video, our brainstorming session, was this, which is a whiteboard that shows kind of our planning process. You can see we have the thumbnail, we have the title, we have a couple sketches of what our thumbnail might look like. And this is actually the way that we kind of began the meeting, is we said, okay, what is our packaging? What do we actually want people to click on? And by the way, this is something that I learned, I've heard a lot of people say about, but I especially learned from Dan Norton, who is of Deep Pocket Monsters. He talks about how he and Pat, when they're making their videos that are getting millions of views on their Pokemon channel, that they talk in titles and thumbnails. That is all they do. And if they don't have something good, they don't even talk about it. Do you have a comment there?
No, I agree. That's what you need to start. Okay, you usually start with the idea of the topic, but you really want to start with the packaging, which is the title and thumbnail.
Yes.
Because if they don't click through, they don't even see your amazing video.
Yeah, the idea and the topic really is the packaging and the thumbnail in a lot of ways. Like there's a deep alignment between that and the video and everything like that. But if you have a good title and thumbnail, dang, you should probably make that video. And so we had an idea already, but we really wanted to nail down the title and thumbnail to make sure we had something. By the way, this is just working titles and thumbnails because these are not what we landed on 100%, but this gave us a direction to get started. So here's what we did next. We sat there, and after we had this, we talked about all the things that we want to do. I turned on voice memos on my phone, by the way. We just chatted. Benji said things, I said things, Neutrally said things. We talked through all of it. And what did we do next? We transcribed it using like Mac Whisper or something like that. We threw it in Gemini and we said, make this into an organized thing following these ideas basically that we talked about and using this structure. And these are the things we want to highlight. And let's go. This is the title and thumbnail. Let's go. And it spit out 2 different versions of a outline that we could use. And we basically said, okay, great. This is enough for us to get started. You chose one of the outlines and you got going. So then fast forward about a week, you, Neutrally, and our friend Guy Cochran, I think, were in studio together, getting ready to go live on Benji Man TV and walk us through that day. What did it look like?
So are you talking about the live stream or the recording of the video itself?
Yeah, well, both. Basically.
Got it. So the reason we were recording that day is because I was already going to do a live stream. And because this was about my live stream setup, we wanted to record the actual video itself first and then capture B-roll of the live stream that I was doing right afterwards. I know it's crazy that all that's happening in one day. But we took that pumped out, script, and there was 2 different versions. We just picked the one that we felt was best, and that's what we followed to shoot the video.
Yeah.
There's 2 reasons for it. One, we just want to know what we need to be talking about. Now, I don't read scripts. I just see bullet points or sections, and I just go to town. So this is why it's important to know what you're talking about, because in the past, say I didn't quite know as to the level I want, Neutrally knows this. It takes 10 times to record a scene, okay? It took me Neutrally, and it was his first time one time because we know this stuff so well.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
but we
awesome.
went section to section to section. I think like he flubbed like twice. I probably didn't flub at all, Anyways, so we go section by section by section and use that outline that ChatGPT pumped out, and it made it super easy. The second reason we do that is we take that same outline and we give that to our editor. Hey, use this outline because we're using it to edit the videos and do your best. Now, typically when you're editing, you're the one editing or you're working with your editor. Our editor is remote. So it was really, and I'd say like I give that person a 90% because they also put in a lot of the B-roll, which after we filmed that part, Neutrally had to actually set up the live stream. I set up all the gear. He goes back to the studio, runs the live stream. The guy shooting the video for us shot the B-roll, so he just stayed at my house and shot all the different angles of the different things that we wanted to feature of what we were talking about. So, it's a talking head video, this live stream setup. So you want something visually to keep it compelling, keep it interesting, and just like to inform them what we're doing. And one of the big ones is a PTZ function of the Osmo 3. So when I'm live streaming, we're telling Guy to do it. Again, that outline, he uses that outline like, hey, what kind of B-roll would I want?
Yeah.
By the way, this is why your shooter should also be a shredder, right? Shooter editor. He didn't edit, but still, they're thinking like the editor, right? Like, what would the editor want? And so that's what he did. I did my normal 1-hour live stream. Guy, the videographer, shot all the B-roll. Then we upload both the tutorial video and then all the B-roll of my live stream up to the cloud, and then it gets handed off to the editor.
And like you said, we also give the editor the outline, and they did a great job. We went through a couple rounds of edits, but overall, like it was very easy. We've worked with them for a long time, right? And video was ready. Now, this is where I would say most people get really, really excited. They see the light at the end of the tunnel. They throw it up on YouTube, and it's just there and ready to go. I'll be honest, I was there too, and there was a whole bunch of other reasons we wanted to get this video out because we had this event coming up, and I could just go on and on and on. But we took a pause. After we uploaded it, we made sure that we had all of the things in the description proper. We made sure that we had a good working title that we wanted to go for. And you and I, on a separate day, went out over to your kitchen and shot a bunch of thumbnails through a dedicated time and process.
That go at least an hour of work,
Yeah.
at least.
I mean, one of the things that you told me is that that's unusual for you. It's something that you haven't done a ton in the past in terms of doing
Almost
that.
ever. Never.
And so I want to hear about what your experience was like, and I'm going to reveal the packaging and reveal the outcome of that eventually. So don't spoil that part. But tell me about what you were thinking when we were doing that.
Well, I've always known the thumbnail was important, but there's two parts of me. There is the vlogger side of me that is very organic about it, but knows like you still want a thumbnail image, but we don't want it to be forced or produced. Okay.
Yes.
And then there's the other side, right? I call it the video influencer side, you know, the YouTube coach in me that knows you should do it. But even then it was like quick, you know, like when Sean and I would do thumbnails, you know, per a video, we would batch produce lots of videos. It took like 5 minutes to do a thumbnail per video. In this case, we did an hour.
Yeah.
What has changed is this. YouTube has gotten so competitive, and credit to me and Sean, YouTube Secrets and other experts and coaches and just creators just getting better. Like you got to be on point with everything, right?
Yes.
We used to say like the video itself could get you ranking and do now as long as it generally was the right direction. But now it's like title, thumbnail, and video, and anything else you got to just be on point because like, people want to do this. People want to have successful YouTube channels. They want to become creators. They want to have influence and make money. Okay.
Yeah.
So what the reason I bring it up is I knew it was going to take that hour-long session at least. And I even said to you, I was like, yo, I've already done a lot of images when we were shooting with Neutrally, the actual live stream setup. And the videographer took some images with his phone. It was like, but dude, whatever we got to do, we got to do it. And I remember that day I was kind of in a hurry, but I was like putting off, you know, what I had to do next because I knew how important it was. And so my mindset has really shifted. And I've been doing this 18 years now. In just the last 3 years, the packaging has really heightened in terms of its importance. Now, it doesn't diminish the need for a great video. It's just it's a necessity now to have that title and thumbnail on point. And if you don't think of it, you're doing yourself a disservice. And that's why we spent so much time on it. Not just then, but from the very beginning. If you look at that picture, I think we lost it. It's no big deal. On our first chicken scratch, kind of like a whiteboard, and usually you can pull it up right here. At the bottom, you'll see the thumbnails. The thumbnails are at the bottom of this for a reason, because you have to think about it. I actually think about this for my vlogs even. I'm like, today I went to Costco to do a Costco vlog. I was like, what would be the thumbnail for this? Now, the thumbnail's not always as obvious as like the elements in it. Also, the expressions. By the way, side note, did you hear what Dan said about their thumbnails?
Yes, I
did. They
did.
no longer can have happy pat. It has to be like shocked or sad pat. And I took note of that because it seems like for me, it's cringy Benji that works better, right? Whatever, just like, right? So I did that for my Costco vlog today. We think about the packaging from the beginning. And again, this is a huge bonus tip. And you can go back to me neutrally. The biggest thing is you want to be inspired by good thumbnails and titles to do videos rather than doing a great video and not thinking about the thumbnail and title. I literally have done vlogs that done well because I knew what the thumbnail was going to look like. Because remember, that is how you're competing against other YouTube videos. And you have to get them, the viewers, compelled enough to click your video. So anyways, that was a long way of saying, yeah, we spent an hour making a thumbnail.
Yeah, and I'm glad you went through that because it is true that, this process began with the very beginning of planning for this video. So we planned the script and the title and thumbnail in one thing. By the way, in the background, you know what I was doing? Before, as you guys were shooting, I was researching. I was saying, okay, what are the other things on this platform that are performing well? You did the same thing. You had some examples on your phone that you sent me screenshots of. We took inspiration from those, right? One thing we learned, and you'll see this in the upcoming thing, showing all of the angles that we were able to achieve works really well on these things. So we included that, right? One thing we knew, by the way, and this is sort of the big aha moment, one thing we knew from doing the clips from this show was that showing the DJI Osmo or like the extra muse or something like that in the thumbnail performs really well. You don't even need to say that in text necessarily, which again, we'll come to in just a second. And so we know A, that people are interested in the educational part of all of this. B, that the Osmos are already a draw to click on. C, that your reaction, which is going to be in this thing, is really important as well. D, that we want to show all of the angles that we were able to achieve. And E, I guess you would say, is that we wanted to make sure we highlighted the fact that this was super easy and super simple to set up, because that was kind of the whole point of this whole thing. By the way, I didn't even talk about the fact that we talked to a whole group of people as a part of Office Hours, which is this live streaming group that they do to like learn about what they were interested in and use that as part of the feedback as well, to know part of our who we were reaching. All of that went into just the thumbnail. And of course, all of this comes together at the very end when we upload. Now, I have a challenge because I know our audience loves it when I put Benji in the middle of a game. So I'm calling this the packaging challenge. Neutrally, if you could bring this up on screen. The packaging challenge. Well, it is kind of what you would imagine. So again, a title and thumbnail on YouTube is called packaging. And the goal for you, Benji, is to guess which packaging won. Oh. Now, I'm going to say I'm a little competitive. And so what I did is I made one that was 100% your ideas based off of the assets that we had. I did one that was 100% my ideas based off of the assets that we had. And one that was a combination of the two of ours. And I honestly don't even remember which one was which. So I guess
I know which one is
Oh,
mine.
you remember which one is yours? Okay.
Yeah.
I just get lost in the sauce. Tell me, of these three title and thumbnail combos, which one would you expect that would win?
The one on the bottom, because it is mine.
So, my insanely simple DJI live streaming setup. It says 10 angles, two cameras.
Title or thumbnail, because those are the different things.
Oh, these are combinations. I'm telling you, these are the three packages that I did. I A/B tested all of these, and one of them won.
Let's take a break though. Do titles get swapped out with different thumbnails, or it's always correlated?
So I'll show you right here on the screen. Yep. This is the beauty of the new setup, everybody. I can show Benji right here. Cool. This right here, and let me do it. This is one that got shown. This is option B that got shown. This is option A. Yeah. So A, B, C.
I'm going to say C because it's my thumbnail, and I usually have a pretty good instinct, especially if I'm going to be in the video. And remember, I treat this video the way I would treat any one of my vlogs. So I did the research, I looked it up, I looked at what other thumbnails are out there, what other live stream setup videos are out there, and this is the concept that I came up with. And also, it's very clear. Okay, like. I wanted to make a point that it's just my laptop and the two cameras.
Yeah.
And people know what the Osmo looks like. So that's why I went with this. And so, again, critiquing A and B, the screen kind of almost gets lost. Like you don't even know what is really going on. I still think it's a great thumbnail. But again, if I'm comparing what's more simple, what's more clear, that C one is better. So that's my thoughts on why we went with that. Okay, another note.
One second, chat. I want you to vote right now. And actually, if you're watching this video after that, because we clipped it, right? That's the idea. We clipped this video, so it'll get more views. Comment right now. Tell me what your guess is and what your rationale is. Pause the video if you're not live and do it right now. But Benji, final thoughts.
One more comment too.
I wish we could play Jeopardy music without it being copyrighted.
I think that to be clear, we're using AI within our graphics software, and sometimes we use AI on its own, but I'm a huge fanatic on always having real images. So those two cameras, that's my hands holding my Osmos that I use all the time, and the laptop is my laptop. What we did was grab those cameras and the laptop and maybe change the sizing, but that's really me. That's not like an AI version of me. This comes from my vlogging background, knowing that it's still possible to do like real pictures, and then also seeing how sometimes people go so far AI and so commonly that just gets lost in the mix.
Yes.
In fact, when I see people do all 100% AI, even if it's a good thumbnail and it could work, it's losing the realness to the point where like people, like analog is coming back, right?
Yes.
Being able to touch and feel things is going to be coming back. So real images is like novel and different, which is exciting for a vlogger like me. So every single of my thumbnails, I don't let my editors use full AI thumbnails at all. They have to have a real image. This is why you have to think through it. So that's why we're doing that. Okay, that was a long rant to say I am definitely combining real images with AI and graphic software. By the way, that combination is very important. That's a whole nother podcast. And that's what you see with C.
As we speak, our video has 12,274 views and counting. The answer
and it's going
is
up, by the way.
Neutrally, can we get a drum roll?
Doc says C.
Answer was B.
By how much?
Not much. It was
Okay.
6%. They were all pretty close, but this was a clear winner. By the way, it was such a clear winner that it did not go through the whole test. So this is one thing that, for those of you who have not used YouTube A/B testing, if YouTube decides that one of the thumbnails is so good compared to the others that it would be wasting your views to keep the test running, they will cut it short and just show the one right away. I'm going to talk about that more in a second. The middle one is the answer. And Benji, by the way, my bet was on C2 beforehand, so I don't want anybody to be clowning on Benji.
So is it
and
still
Doc.
testing it?
No, because it just set this as the thumbnail
But you know what's,
purely.
oh, just recently? Like what?
I want to say about 5 days ago.
You know what's weird though? The bottom one still shows up for me on
And
my
does it
phone.
show on the Messages app, or does it show on the
I will literally
YouTube
do
app?
it right now. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go to our channel.
This is the beauty of live, everybody.
I know.
Like, I love this thing.
So look, it still shows the old one. I don't know if it's because of the cookies or not.
You can show the camera too, yeah.
I don't know if you can zoom. Well, we do have the OBSBot Tel 2s, which have optical zoom. Let's see. Okay, cool. Zoom in. Look what I see.
Yeah. Nice, slow, sensual zoom.
So how far
boy.
is that the farthest you can go? Can you do optical zoom? But anyways, there you go. It shows me holding the thing barely.
It shows option C, in other words.
Option
for those
C, yeah.
So you can bring that up on the screen while you zoom back out neutrally. Option B was a bit of a surprise to me too. This one, by the way, I think is a bit of the hybrid between ours. And here's what this tells me. Here's why I think this one won. Here's my theory of the case so far. There's two things that happen. The first thing is that I would say that what gets people to stop scrolling is the thumbnail. That's the kind of thing that draws people's interest in. This is my theory of thumbnails. What gets them to click? The combination of that interest that you create with a thumbnail and the information, the context that you provide in the title. By the way, that's another thing that Dan talked about is I think curiosity and context are the two pieces there. And so what this does is if you think about them seeing the thumbnail first, what do they see? They see Benji surprised on the screen.
Yeah.
They see a bunch of different angles, which we know was successful. They see the DJI Osmo standing up side by side, and immediately they're kind of like, oh, how are they getting all these angles with just two cameras, right? Second thing they might be thinking about, oh, DJI Osmo, I have one of those, or I love the DJI Osmo, or I want to only spend $500 or less potentially, right? And what's the last thing they might see, or maybe even the first thing? Easy streaming. I'm a beginner. I want something easier than who doesn't want easier? Let's click on this one. Now, of course, they probably haven't clicked yet. They want to read what the title says. And what does it say? The simplest multicam live streaming setup I've ever used. What does that communicate? Well, the first thing it communicates is, hey, this is easy. It's reinforcing the thumbnail. Like you say, the title and thumbnail is always a bit of a dance. So you have it's easy, it's simple, not necessarily the same thing, but both reinforcing one another. Multicam, again, reinforcing what's in that thumbnail here. These people aren't joking that it's like 4 different angles that they're seeing in that thing right there. You can leave it up neutrally because I think it's useful and instructive to see. All those different angles there, right? And again, it shows that in the thumbnail, it's reinforcing it. And I've ever used. That actually speaks to your authority, Benji. Now, remember, we talked about our channel. It was relatively small.
You
at
are
this point.
so smart. This is like getting into the psychology at a deep level here.
For you, right, you have tried a bunch of different live streaming setups. You have a huge history. We didn't even really get to talk about it in the video, honestly, but it shows that you've tried things and that and I think it comes through in the video that you're like, geez, this is much easier. You even show that like you have this whole pile of gear that you used before. So all of those things I think add up to why this one won, because the other ones, they kind of communicate similar things, but this one communicates the entire package. It's also interesting that it's the longest title of the three.
So this is where I wish they could separate the titles from the thumbnails.
Yes.
Because I agree with you that title could be more powerful, or maybe it's the thumbnail that's more powerful. I don't know. I think that, one of the things, so this is a great lesson for anybody that's never done title thumbnail strategy. You want to have a dance between the title and the thumbnail.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Let the thumbnail speak for itself. Okay. So to your credit, your thumbnail says easy streaming on it. Okay. And there's nothing else. Even the fact that it has DJI Osmos, you don't have to say that in the title because those are obvious to Osmo lovers.
They're so iconic.
And even if you don't know what an Osmo is, what are you going to do?
You're like, what is that?
Click, right? Okay, so that's really smart. And then on the title, you don't have to put easy again. He puts simplest. Again, some people might read simplest, and that might make them click, or easy on the thumbnail. So this was one of my things too. 10 angles, 2 cameras. I didn't really like that on my thing. That was you like saying, hey, let's just go with
give it a shot. Yeah.
Because for me, now that I'm looking at this, I'm like over the laptop. Now I'm like put easy up there and put streaming on the right side of the thumbnail instead of 2 cameras. Because again, it's clear that's 2 cameras.
Yes.
Do you need to put 2 cameras?
No.
Yeah. You see, like, so you can kind of have this argument, but this is why not separating the title and the thumbnail makes it difficult, because how do you know what won it? Was it the title or the thumbnail? See, my argument is the thumbnail from a visual standpoint almost always will win. The more visually compelling it is, the more simple it is. And the title is what is more complex.
Yes, I agree.
Like you said, it's more of the psychology of it. Like, and that's why what you got to do when you're doing thumbnail title decisions, separate your decision apart from each other.
Yes.
Even though we just said it's like a dance, judge a title just by the title itself and be like, which one is the best one? And then judge all the thumbnails visually, which one's the best one, and then you start pairing them up as like dance partners.
Yes.
Which one dances the best? So it's not one or the other. I still think like mine is better. It's hard to know. And I'm like, what?
I'm so excited. You should keep going.
And so like for me, I'm just like, this is where like I love working with Austin because he's way smarter and more technical, and he's doing this research. The stuff he's telling me about this video itself and why it's doing well is kind of blowing my mind. You guys are getting all the access to it. I'm more instinctual about things. I'm not about like data. And so remember, I come from the era where I could only have one title, one thumbnail, right?
Yeah.
So you just had to make a decision.
I know.
In fact, you didn't even entertain doing multiple.
I know.
Now, you know, like that was like something really innovative that creators were doing, where they would have multiple thumbnails and they themselves were switching it out. I mean, credit to, what was that? TubeBuddy? TubeBuddy had a function that they would switch out the thumbnail for you in the software itself. I think vidIQ does it now, but now you can do one thing. Anyways, I mean, where do you want to go with it?
Yeah, so I'm sorry to obsess over the title and thumbnail so much, but I really think that you said more and more and more, title and thumbnail is so crucial, because I think that we are already creating very good videos. We just need to get people to click through, right? And so this is one of the things that I've been thinking about here. So one of the ways that I tease this out is by looking at the order of which these things are successful and the degree to which they're successful, and then looking for patterns. So this one, first of all, is number 1. This one is number 2, and this is number 3.
Which, by the way, do you notice which one's number 3?
I do.
Is your thumbnail.
So this here, but it's interesting because here, right, there's a lot of similarities between 1 and 3 in terms of the thumbnail, right?
Yes, for sure.
But slightly different, right? But here, you take a look. Well, what is finding success? Well, number 1 and number 2, they both talk about things being simple or easy, right? They both talk about multicam right here, right? Like that. They both show the DJIs in here. And actually, neither of them call out the DJI. Well, actually, this one does say DJI here. And so to me, those are some of the things that I'm looking at there. Actually, I should leave this up as well. Now, if we look at the bottom 2.
By the way, now I'm critiquing take out DJI.
Yeah, I take out DJI because guess what? Our lowest performing one mentioned DJI the most. So why do it? Let the
image itself.
Let it speak for itself.
You don't have to tell a DJI Pocket or Osmo Pocket 3 fan that this is a DJI. They know this is the Pocket 3.
Yes. And so to me, right, and actually here's why, and we had the instinct to put DJI in there before. Back in the day, what were you doing? Keyword search. You wanted to put the keywords in the titles. That's dud. That doesn't exist anymore. The keywords, we talk about DJI probably 100 times in that video, right? 1,000 times in this one if you've been watching the whole show. But YouTube knows that. We don't need to put it in there. And by the way, by putting it in the thumbnail, the only thing that we need to communicate to the viewer is that this might relate to the DJI, as to your point. So to me, I'm like, okay, the only thing we want in here is the actual cameras themselves. Everything else should speak to A, your experience, and B, the nature of the setup, how easy and simple it is, but how powerful it is, right? So in the chat here, Doc says, you can rerun the test with the C thumbnail and all 3 titles and wait a week and run B thumbnail, all 3 titles. A good way to do BT's test. What I would do too, and remove the background and use solid white. Contrasts so well on TV. TV has no light mode. And then easy is very awesome. Psychological trigger. Agree with all of those
Can
things.
I give myself a little bit of credit?
1 second, let me finish my thought here, and then
Okay.
I'll let you say yours. What I want to do, I'm more and more of a believer of running at least 2 A/B tests if your video has the juice. So what I want to do to what Doc was saying, usually if you can bring it up one final time for me, I want to run a test with this one here as well, with this one with changes, right? And then one other one that is a marriage of the 2. So we know which title and which thumbnail it works, as well as take some of the lessons that we have here from our theory and see if we can come up with an even better one. If we can't, probably not worth it in the end to continue changing it, but you could keep running this in perpetuity as long as you're getting views. And so I'm going to draw my example thumbnail of what I want to do on the bottom as you talk. So go ahead and finish, finish your thing. This is my thumbnail here in purple.
Fun story. Before Austin was my co-host, he was my videographer and also photographer, okay? So not only did he help shoot and edit my food recipe videos back in the day, he would go with us and be the shooter at different events and trips. One of them was VidCon, okay? And I give him shit about it to this day. I said, hey, take a picture of me and Sean. And it was like a great picture. The VidCon sign was of us, and then it was just me and Sean. Right in the center of us, in the background, was some random girl just awkwardly staring right at Austin and looking at the camera. And it was right between us. I wish we could find it because it's like it shows like how important it is to pay attention to the object and then the background. Why do I even go through that whole story? Because that's if I found that. It'd be pretty. In fact, maybe I'll look for it while I'm talking. When we were doing this thumbnail shoot, I remember when we're shooting his idea, kind of, right? The laptop with the cameras on each side. I was the one that said, like, let's get these cameras even closer.
Yep.
But the reason I brought up the whole background kind of mistake, it's funny, like with tools today, we can like delete that girl out of in between us, is because originally behind this was the picture of the Eiffel Tower that's inside of there.
Yes.
And so what happened was the DJI Osmo in the thumbnail that he was using, right, or he kind of came up with, it hid the second Osmo.
Yes.
And I was like, yo, we need to get rid of that because I couldn't see what he's doing. I was like setting everything up and I was like doing this face. So I said, show it to me and it hit it. I was like, yo, we got to do it at an angle. Every single time it still have a little bit of the Eiffel Tower to I was like, we're going to really move this thing and just make it a blank background. I'm not doing this to poke fun at Austin. I'm trying to make a point. The thumbnails should be so clear and simple and easy to understand that there's no confusion, no complexity, and even the easy streaming is borderline like too much text, but it works. It's a nice balance. And so even like the 10 angles and 2 cameras of the C thumbnail, I don't want to use text if I can avoid it as much as possible. And you got to have, like, when you're editing thumbnails, I work with really good editors that knows how to use graphics software, like way better than me, and people that know how to use AI. But again, I bring up that example because like he's my videographer. He like should know this stuff.
Exactly.
And he still left that girl in between us. And to this day, like he still has this, like, he's so focused on the objects. Me, I'm a big picture guy, no pun intended. I have to look at everything.
Yes.
And so when I look at thumbnails, I'm obsessing over thumbnails all the time. When I look at YouTube, and sometimes I may look at it too much, the way I justify it is because I judge every thumbnail. I go, why is this doing so well?
Yes.
Why did this get so many views? Now, again, it could be the video, could be the title, but oftentimes it could be the thumbnail. And that's why when I saw these thumbnails, when we were like dialing them in, and you did all of it, right? Like the post work, I was like, oh, we're on to something. And I was like excited. I already knew the video was a solid. Like I think neutrally, to be fair, I give you an A+, but the video itself still, and this is nothing against the editor, this is still up to me because again, it's my video, is like an 89. Okay. So it's like a B+, maybe an A, but in combination with the title and the thumbnail, it's an A+ because, and this is what we're going to get to, why you've been listening to this whole thing. It caught the algorithm.
Yes.
It's going beyond an audience that even knows of us or is subscribed to our channel. And that is the beauty of YouTube. And it's still a search engine and it's still a suggestion engine. Oh, that's a new term.
I like that.
A suggestion engine that is unrivaled. And that's why I was excited. I was like, I felt like Maverick in the movie Maverick, where he's getting back in the cockpit of his jet. And he just went out there. It's like, I'm going to show these kids what's up. I was thinking that this whole time. I was like excited. I think that's just a huge takeaway. If you're having fun and then you put in some serious hours and serious work, in addition to research and prep and execution, man, YouTube can actually be this like wild thing that actually works, that actually does what you're supposed. So all this stuff we're nerding out on, it's all worth it. And I would even say, giving credit to you and myself, we've just been putting in the hours and vlogging and doing different kinds of videos. And it's funny, this is like the beginning of an era. Doc, if you're watching, you ain't seen nothing yet, bro, okay? Doc is with Ecamm and he hung out with us. Yep. Yeah. And so I'm excited, not just for myself, but for anybody. If you are a YouTuber, you can go to me now. If you're a YouTuber, if you're a creator, and you're just getting started on this platform or Meta's platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, even though it is competitive and it is challenging, you can still make it happen. It's just new rules, new dynamics. There's new opportunities. We talk about live streaming a lot, but longer form content, even in short form, it's just like do something different and just get pumped up and excited. And just know there's no getting around the work. Enjoy the work. This is why whatever you create, make sure it's something that you love, because if you hate it, you're just going to quit. Me, I'm like, yo, I love what I do, which is helping creators so much. And even though I've done it in different forms, right? Obviously like live streams or short form or podcasts, now in-person events, it's all so I can do this as a lifestyle. And it just gives me like endless energy and endless persistence to get to this point. So when I saw this video work and I had the instinct like this could do it. And it's still going. 10,000 views. Like I get like
it's just the
that
beginning.
In a day in my other channel, but that's not the point. I see the algorithm working the way it's like an old friend. It's like, hey, old friend. It's like, you know, like Maverick in his F-16 is like, yeah, I got this, right? I know exactly how to run this machine. YouTube still works. You know, I'll end in this. Doc sent me a video of Peter McKinnon talking about YouTube in general and the algorithm, and it's called I've Been a Bad Friend. Okay. And he's talking about how as a creator, he feels like he wasn't showing up enough, maybe for different reasons. Well, ultimately, he's actually even pointing fingers at YouTube saying, oh, the algorithm doesn't want to show my content. I'm in algorithm jail. No, this is what I think is happening right now. YouTube is different because people are different. People are getting less views or more views just because there's more competition and there's new rules that you have to follow. Okay. So that's why as a newbie, someone that's new to this platform with a fresh mind that doesn't have the baggage of old. And remember, I probably have the most baggage because I wrote a book called YouTube Secrets. It's still like the first half of it is amazing. The second half needs to be updated, frankly. Okay. And the thing is this, I could probably update it if I have time to write a second half of the book and Sean wants to. But the reason I know this stuff is because I put in the hours. I vlog like 4 to 5 times a week, at least, between my family vlog channel and my food vlog channel. I live stream 1 to 2 times at least a week, if not 2 to 3 times. And I'm talking to creators all the time. I'm looking at YouTube videos. I'm putting all the pieces together. And so all that to be said, it's still possible. and the opportunity before us is kind of crazy. And this is just the beginning. It's funny. This is one video, right? Now let's see how the second video does. But I don't overthink it. It's all about the third, fourth, fifth, 10th video, in my opinion. And so it's just a beginning for us. But I think that anybody can take advantage and still get the same kind of opportunities as 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, but even faster if you know how to work the algorithm and you understand the platform and the people watching YouTube and how they're watching it.
Yeah, I want to wrap up a little bit here too. We have a couple things that we want to get to, and I want to start by just kind of recapping a little bit because I think that this is such an important lesson for all of us. This whole thing began because we started here. We started by shipping something that we were proud of. And by the way, this became the building block of our format for our show, which I described here. Oh, sorry, it's not here anymore because I closed the presentation, my bad. But you remember the thing where we talked about all of the pre-show and things like that. Now, that format, right, allowed us to create videos that caught the algorithm. It let us understand that DJI was something that was going to be successful, which gave us a chance to start planning a video around that insight that we knew that our channel was going to be successful doing DJI videos. You brought up something really important, which is the idea of a suggestion engine. YouTube, more than anything else, is ranking videos. Before we talk about ranking in terms of search, now I'm thinking about ranking in terms of the suggestions, in terms of the algorithm. That is it's like a smaller bullseye. If you want to get to the center, you should aim for the center bullseye. And if you hit the outer ring, that's totally fine, right? But like, guess what? If you can hit that bullseye, then you're ready to go. If you're getting suggested, you will almost certainly be ranked if people are searching for the right things, in my mind. By the way, that's also true for AI engines as well. And what that allowed us to do is really double down on the whole process to get to the point where a video like this, the one that we posted, can get 12,000 views on a channel that had 400 subscribers at that time. And again, like you said, it's just the point. It's just the beginning. Now, even this here, the thing that you were bringing up about you and I sitting there in the kitchen working together, it also shows about like what you said, the work that you had to do. And for us, it was about all of us putting in 100%, but also even more important than that, having everybody's eyeballs in there and testing things out amongst each other and everybody contributing everything that they saw. Because guess what? You're your first viewers, right? We are all the first people who are going to see these things and decide whether or not it'd be something that we would click on or watch. And so trust your instincts when you do that, and especially trust your team to give you their instincts as well.